All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2. It's going to be the same teams we saw before, LGD International versus Tongfu. No rest for you guys. You don't have time to get a drink. You don't have time to go to the bathroom. It's all starting now.
But I need a PLD.
And we'll hop into the draft here. It's going to be... Nice pause there, Kawa. Saving me. It's on the wrong screen. That production value at work. The Darkseer, first pick for LGDint. Tongfu will select a Visage. And, of course, it will be Tongfu on the Radiant side, trailing 0-1 in this best of 3.
I felt like Darkseer was very, very important to LGDint's win last game. Brex played very, very well, and Lumi was talking about it, how he just been sort of carrying them through these games, and he just played extremely well, initiated a lot of ganks, found a lot of farm, got that early mech, forced a lot of team fights, and just put a lot of pressure out on Tongfu in general. I think that maybe they should have banned it out instead of the Nyx Assassin, but regardless, Tongfu will go with a Visage first pick.
Visage first pick for them. Obviously, a strong tri-lane hero. If they want to go anti-mage now, they're doing it against 2 heroes that can make illusions of him. Disruption illusions, as well as wall illusions. So maybe not an anti-mage game. There's also a Lifestealer in the pool. A strong tri-lane hero for Tongfu. If you want to go multiple cores, Lifestealer normally one of the ideal options for that kind of style.
But Darkseer and Shadow Demon are both very good versus Lifestealer, and it's going to make his life very, very difficult.
I wonder who else they would go for. There's a Gyrocopter in the pool. We saw a Magnus last game as that initiator, that team fight solo mid. Well, normally a mid, but was an offlaner in game number 1. I'm not sure who else they would turn to. They've generally been picking a lot of Anti-Mage and Alchemist.
Right. And I think that they can't really take Anti-Mage versus Shadow Demon and the Darkseer.
Yeah,
I don't
for the
think
reasons we talked about.
Right, I think they should probably ban them out, but looks like they really want to concentrate on winning the triple lane, especially with the Visage first pick. I think Darkseer is actually a stronger first pick, and we'll see.
Darkseer is the more versatile first pick. He can go jungle, he can go mid, he can go off lane, G can play him, Brax can play him. They've got plenty of options there. When you go Visage, he does have to lane. They'll go Weaver, which also dissuades LGDint from even maybe going for a Lifestealer in the next stage of this draft.
Right.
Hard to lock down. LGDint, no proper stuns to speak of, so, well, this pick makes a lot of sense.
I think they need more team fight. We saw last game, they had an RP, but without the big mana void or the right-click damage from Empower, they didn't really have anything to follow up. Shadow Demon can't really do anything. Nyx Assassin can't hit 1 stun, but no real big AoE damage to follow up. And Visage and Weaver are not the best team fight heroes either. So again, if we see LGDN get off to an early game lead and force a lot of issues with towers, pushing the T2, early aggression on the T3, taking out Roshan, I think that Tongfu might be in a position where they might just not be able to take team fights simply because of their hero comp.
Yeah, a strong laning lineup for Tongfu, a little bit weak on the 5-man, as you mentioned. The puck banned out by Tongfu, so denying that to G. We saw the power of Vacuum plus Silence, and
yeah,
there's no Sand King yet in this game. It's something LGD could go for, but I felt Puck and Darkseer was strong by itself.
Yeah, Puck very, very good versus Weaver because of that 3-second silence, and you're really forced to get Manta or BKB because Lincoln does absolutely nothing versus Puck.
Yeah, Lincoln's won't be effective here, but the Puck does get banned. Lifestealer's still in the pool. G's Storm still in the pool. That would be a nice combo to gank Weaver in the early to mid game if they want to go for that, and it gives them a decent late game as well, simply because you can put so much pressure on the enemy carries. So maybe a Storm, maybe a Lifestealer.
I think that LGD may just go for straight push though. Again, Visage Weaver very weak at anti-push and very weak at laning phase. LGDN could really abuse this draft with a Chen and a Luna, which we've seen them do a lot of times before. Just Shadow Demon and Chen roam around, find farm on the Luna, and then just push down all the towers.
That's true. Tongfu still have not picked that second support. Could be a Jakiro, could be a Keeper of the Light. Those are both in the pool. And they haven't picked their mid or their off lane yet. Weaver maybe being one of those side lane solos, but I feel if LGD goes too heavy push, Tongfu have enough picks to address it. But you're right, these first 2 picks not good at counter pushing.
And it looks like they will ban out the Jakiro.
And it's Tongfu doing it. A strong combo here with Darkseer.
And decent with the Shadow Demon too if they're perhaps scared of a Lifestealer, but I fully expect Lifestealer to be picked in this lineup though. He's not the greatest for Darkseer and Shadow Demon, but he's just such a good laning presence, and Pycat wrecked with him late game. Was it Pycat?
Yeah, Pycat played it in game 1. Tongfu have definitely played a bit of Lifestealer of their own. Like you mentioned, not the best against Darkseer or Shadow Demon. Lifestealer not the best against Weaver, so there's some bad matchups for him on either side, but still a strong hero, a hard-to-kill hero, and in the right hands could do a lot of work.
What about a Lone Druid?
Lone Druid, one of Pycat's signatures. Tongfu definitely have played Lone Druid, but if you've left Lifestealer in the pool, I feel that hero is just not ideal, because he's so effective at killing the bear.
That's true. I would like to see Tongfu go for some more early game though. They got off to a relatively good early game start, but they only had for one T1 down in like 20 minutes time, and Anti-Mage is not the best at split pushing that early into the game, and I feel like if they could put a lot more early game pressure on LGD and again counter some of their aggression, it would work very well in their favor.
This seems like the better pick to me. Gyro, flat cannon, good against Darkseer wall illusions, just a strong laning carry. Gives you a lot of AoE, so there's a bunch of counter push and a bunch of late game potential. Can go solo mid for Mu, can be your safe lane farmer, can be a part of an aggressive try, and this hero can do pretty much everything. And with this pick, they don't go towards something like a Lifestealer who can be kited a lot. Gyro, much harder to kite.
Indeed, and have we ever seen Tongfu run a gyrocopter in the mid lane?
No, I don't think so. They might have done it. I haven't personally cast those games if they have, but they're a pretty versatile team. I think they're one of the more creative Chinese teams, especially just in terms of how they lane. So if they put a Mu Gyro mid, it certainly wouldn't shock me. Also, a Weaver mid is something I think I have seen them do before. So depending on what LGD pick, that could be an option as well.
Yep, Weaver pretty good against most of these matchups though. He fares usually very well versus Darkseer, unless there's a tree, and pretty good versus this dual lane, I guess, so far. If they pick a Leshrac or a Lina to follow up, that's going to make life very difficult for the Weaver.
They get a natural Orchid carrier here in the Queen of Pain. They get a great setup or follow-up to the Darkseer Vacuum, the Sandking Burrow Strike special. A lot of burst damage for LGD. No real late game to speak of. BKBs will punish LGD heavily. And now Tongfu go for a Naga Siren. Ooh. There's your three cores, a Gyro, a Naga, a Weaver. We have seen support Naga.
Have we seen a solo mid from Tongfu?
That'd be cool. I think it might be the solo mid this game. Well, against Queen of Pain,
LG lost the matchup last time. I was specifically remembered this. I was like, wow, he's getting owned. And it was a Queen of Pain versus Naga Siren mid. I believe it was versus Zenith. So
it is hard because Naga has insane base armor and Riptide has a 10-second cooldown. So you can spam that, and if the Queen of Pain comes near you, she takes so much damage.
Right.
Or near your illusions, for that matter.
OD banned Outlast? Was that was that really necessary?
No.
Yeah.
I want to say not really.
I want to say not really either. Maybe LGD.int is just really scared about losing the laning phase. Queen of Pain, very difficult to match up against versus OD, but I don't think that was necessary at all.
Yeah, Naga support is something we've seen LGD.int do before. It's something we've seen some teams do in the past, but it's a very situational support. And in this game, you already have Weaver and Gyro, solos that can't really team fight too much. So, I mean, they can team fight, but they don't have control, is what I'm saying. So, you really need Naga to get a quick level 6, you need Song of the Siren fast, and you'd like her to be able to stay alive in these fights to get off multiple nets, multiple Riptides.
And it looks like they're going to ban out the Lifestealer. Lifestealer, again, not the best versus versus Weaver, rather, and not the best versus Naga Siren, but the potential for the Nake's bombs, and especially with Tongfu's relatively slow reactions to bombs in general and ganks, I think that this is a good ban.
Especially versus LGD.int, who like to go quadruple Blink Dagger. Could be a possibility here.
Oof.
Yeah,
it was tough for them.
That hurt. Well, LGD.int, they'll need that carry now. They'll need that Pycat hero. Who's it going to be?
Let's see, what options are there right now? There is Lone Druid, but doesn't really fit too well in this triple lane. Gyrocopter, Alchemist, and Weaver are not available. Lifestealer also. What other ones have we seen? We've seen Luna, and we know that LGD.int likes to run it sometimes. I don't think it would work the best in this lineup, though.
It's laning against something like a Weaver is going to be very tough for the Luna if it is a 1v1. And they'll go for the Anti-Mage. Actually slips through the entire draft. And they get it in the ideal situation. They have Shadow Demon, they have Darkseer, they've got a mobile split pusher in Queen of Pain.
Yeah, very good pickup.
They have a great split pushing lineup, they've got good AoE, and they've got arguably equally good, if not better, late game.
We did see Naga Siren shut down an Anti-Mage fairly hard yesterday, but again, they almost have no lockdown except for Homing Missile, very unreliable, and the Naga Siren net. So they're definitely lacking on disables, and LGD clearly took advantage of that in this draft.
And who are you going to get at this point? I feel like they can't pick another farm. Well, they will.
Ooh, Beastmaster.
They'll go. So now it's a support Naga Siren, most likely, and it'll be a solo mid Beastmaster. No, Mu playing the Weaver. King J Beastmaster possibly in the off lane. Oh, that's going to be tough for him. Anti-Mage can 1v1 Beastmaster. He doesn't even need help.
It's going to be very difficult, or rather very easy for an Anti-Mage to find farm against this sort of lineup.
I guess King J will probably get some levels off of that off lane, but that's a free farm lane for Anti-Mage. And LGD.int can go aggressive Chine if they want to. Sand King, Shadow Demon, Darkseer, or they can put Brax in the jungle and defensive tri-lane. If you're LGD.int, do you want to go aggressive here? Or would you rather
I think
just
it's
trade?
really what you think Tongfu will. I think Beastmaster is much better suited for mid, but King J's on the hero, so that lends me to believe that it might go off lane. So
okay, let's
not
assume assume you think he's going off lane. In that case, do you want to go aggressive tri-lane?
I don't think so. Not versus
trade?
Visage and not versus.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not versus Visage. Visage tri lanes just usually dominate.
They do. That's fair to say. But we'll see Brax heading down to the bottom lane for the time being. And on that note, we'll introduce LGD.int. They lead 1-0 in this best of 3. Darkseer being handled by Brax. Pycat on the Anti-Mage. Misery on the Sand King. G playing that Queen of Pain. We'll have 14-37 on the Shadow Demon. LGD.int, they look great in Game 1, but they've got a staunch opponent here in Tongfu. One of your Dota 2 Super League Grand Finalists, Pao on the Gyrocopter. We'll have Sangsheng. A weak performance for him in Game 1. Let's see if he can step it up on the Visage. King J, the Beastmaster rushing a bottle. Banana on the Naga Siren. And then last but not least, it'll be Moo handling the Weaver. And, well, he's been pulled a bit.
And we see a ping come out from LGD.int. They are definitely trying to take control of this jungle. And, I mean, they may very well go for an aggressive triple lane, as you suspected.
At least wanting to clear out the enemy jungle for now. Maybe just feeling they have the... well, their level 1 lineup isn't that strong. So
I think Tongfu's is actually a little bit weaker, though, with no reliable stun. I mean, they have a snare, but you really want Riptide in level 1 for that deeps.
That deep. Well, LGD.int, they'll clear out the enemy jungle. Now they'll rotate off the jungle. Did not leave any observers or any sentries in their wake. And they'll retreat back towards the top lane. G, he has been pulled. He's going 1v1 mid, but it won't be against the Naga this time. Tongfu either didn't see that game or didn't care to go for the same matchup.
Yeah, and again, I think that Beastmaster is the better matchup here over Weaver, I believe, would be the other option. And I think it just makes her lane stronger overall, just because you don't want your side lane to be completely just stomped with a weak. I think he's just so weak in the off lane or the safe lane, so he really needs to be able to control those runes, and he can do it well with Call of the Wild.
I completely agree there. I think overall it makes the lane stronger.
Oh, they expected it too with the Sentry Ward in mid.
But G should definitely be able to dominate a mid lane Beastmaster, especially when he's been pulled. He's starting with an advantage in terms of items, and he's the ranged hero, a Queen of Pain against the Beastmaster. It's a matchup that G should dominate.
Yeah, and he has a lot of base damage, 64 base damage, just slightly edging out Beastmaster, and Tongfu will actually be the one doing aggressive triple lane.
G maybe looking for a Shadow Strike here. Just curious to keep an eye on him and see how good he is at harassing, tanking the creeps a bit, only using the first Shadow Strike now. King J's been spamming the wave, which makes it a bit hard for Queen of Pain to chase him, because she has to fight her way through these creeps. Our last lane, Merlini, we can look at it quickly. It's Moo's Weaver against Brax's Darkseer. The last time we saw this matchup was yesterday when Funnick was terrorizing 430, got 2 solo kills, so we'll try and keep a close eye on this one. But a matchup where if the Weaver plays defensively, should not die.
Yeah, and he got pulled some regen, and he's actually going for a Ring of Protection. I believe the other day the Weaver went for a Treads Bottle Basilius build, and I personally don't like that build versus Darkseer, just because you're constantly taking harass, and especially with the Bottle Crow nerf, it just makes it especially difficult for your HP to be topped up. And with Tranquil and perhaps an Aquila, I think that's much better in terms of sustained regeneration.
G doing a nice job of harassing King J off the lane. King J, Bottle Up, is going to be constantly Bottle Crowing. Moo won't have access to this courier, at least not early on. So, Tranquil Boots, quite likely for him. We'll see what he goes for here. Early Ring of Basilius, the choice. And it isn't a bad pickup versus Darkseer, but... and the mana always helps, but it doesn't really help your creeps to push the lane out, because Ion Shell magic damage, the armor, not going to matter.
Yep, doing a lot of damage to Brax here. Again, I think the Tranquil Boots is a little bit better. Brax still has a ton of regen left. A Salve, a Ring of Regen, and a Tango. He's able to put out a lot of pressure on Moo.
I expected G would dominate this matchup, as well he should. He's 10-8, and the mid lane for Tongfu. King J only sitting at 6-0. Well, it's a lane that LGD should win. It's a lane that they are winning. We saw this last game, but it was the mid-game decision-making where G fell a little bit short, but off to a good start here.
And G looks like he may get a regeneration rune on bottom, too. That's going to be very, very difficult for King J to come back from.
The last lane, the tri-lane, we haven't been talking about it because it's been such a passive lane, but How is winning in terms of farm? That's probably expected with how strong Tongfu's lineup is. But Pycat's still farming 9-2, and he's not dying and taking minimal harassment. So I think LGDint, everything going pretty decently for them so far.
Yep, decent indeed. Brax still finding a lot of farm. Almost has a Soul Ring recipe, although the... Ooh, Top lane. Misery is also in a very strange position because he's just like standing over here, not really doing anything. I see that he's finally smoked, but he was sitting there for about a minute, and Tongfu had an observer and a sentry ward there.
Yeah, they haven't got any control
King J's in a lot of trouble
over their own jungle yet. They saw this. He smoked right under that observer ward.
Well, King J, ooh.
They should have seen it. Maybe they didn't, but it was definitely, it was right here when he used it. So, well, it looks like he knows. Misery probably wasted his time here mid. Tongfu.
No, they just went on King J.
King J in a bit of trouble. Really? Oh no, he's going to get caught. Burrow strikes there. Should be our first blood. G, Scream cooling down. Level 2. It will be the kill. They had to have seen it. I saw him use the smoke.
He stood right here, though, and I think that's just in the fog. But again, King J has to be, I mean...
Now they're going in
he
top
pretty much
lane.
just lost the lane with a regeneration room.
Now 1437 on the run. Grave Chill slowing him down. Banana, no net, unfortunately. How? Tries to get in range, but a great disruption should buy him time to get out. Another Riptide needs one more hit. He's going to die for it. Just kidding, he's not. The Soul Assumption secures the kill.
But Pycat's still finding decent farm in this lane, too. 13-2, especially when the Sand King rotates away. I think overall that's a win.
They're going in now top lane, and in Misery comes level 2. Burrow striking through. Sangsheng gets caught. Now the Soul Catcher as well. Beautiful body block for Misery. Sangsheng isolated and chopped up. LGD International, I was about to say China, are off to a good start here in game number 2. They now lead 2-1, 4.5 minutes in. Our score in terms of golden experience, though, is very even.
And godz is playing very, very well. Again, he's been sort of the wild card in many of these mid matchups, but he has definitely played well this early game. I thought last game his performance on Puck was slightly weak in the first 10 minutes, definitely coming through in the last 20 or so, but constant pressure on King J in mid, out CSing him, I guess, until he rotated top, finding a lot of kills in that early first blood too. Good rune control, overall good harass, and last hitting skills.
It's been a story of 2 dominant solos. Moo in this bottom lane is doing a fantastic job of zoning Brax out. Every time that Brax comes forward to Ion Shell a creep, Moo parks himself in between the wave and the enemy hero, preventing him from doing it for free. Brax is still getting farm, but Moo already 25-6 and putting the harass out. Brax now, being a Darkseer, you're always going to get something out of the lane, but I feel like Moo is playing this about as well as you could possibly expect.
Man, no Tranquil Booty. He's opting for the bottle build instead. Again, Weaver's not going to be leaving the lane very much just because the Ion Shell is constantly pushed into his lane. If anything, Darkseer is going to be leaving just because sometimes they rotate in the jungle, sometimes they creep pool. But again, I personally don't like the bottle pickup, but he's doing a pretty good job on bottom.
Sentry Ward was dropped by LGD International, but it looks like it's just out of range of that Observer Ward. Once again, Misery, level 3, boots up and a TP scroll online, and maybe looking to rotate here. Hastern's going to spawn bottom.
Looks like Moo's going to pick it up. They have 4 people on top. We see King J. He does have his roar up. He just hit level 6.
Will he actually look to make a move, though? Misery?
Oh, they ping him out.
Scouting
You know.
out.
Path to freedom. Cut down those trees.
Where's Harriet Tubman when you need her? Well, the Underground Railroad isn't available for Tongfu. They'll have to work it the hard way. The axes come out from King J. They'll clear off the creep wave, and they will take the first tower of the game. And that's pretty important for them, because they have a great lineup to just gank the anti-mage. If Naga's able to net, if Roar comes out, well,
And
Pycat could be in a lot
is
of
massive
trouble.
on farm, too. He has 40 last hits in 6 minutes. That is very, very good.
Despite giving up the first 2 kills, they now lead by 1,500 gold, even in terms of experience, but having that tower down really gives them fantastic map control.
And Brax still doing pretty well on bottom. He was under a lot of pressure from Moo, but he's almost topped off in terms of regen now.
Yeah, that's just Ion Chill at work for you. Brax, unlikely to die. Moo giving chase. He is level 7. Brax, sure, he's getting the creeps, but you can see the level difference. Just being zoned out of the lane. Even though Ion Shell's killing the creeps, he's not getting the experience, and that's why Moo, a full level ahead of him here.
Wow, so much peeing going out right now, and they're all peeing on Misery.
Hao really wants to fight, and this team is saying, calm down, Hao. It's not your time yet, buddy.
Banana only level 3, and the Visage just barely level 4 here, too. So I think the supports on both sides are suffering. Level 3 on the Sand King as well as the Shadow Demon. Long time until we see Demonic Purge or Epicenter in action.
Yeah, both teams lacking levels. In fact, there's 0 creeps on the Sand King, so no gold there either. Just the first blood to his name. Misery's boots. Magic Stick available, but nothing else. And the mid lane going well for G. He's leading in terms of net worth by 600 over the enemy Beastmaster. But I'm a little concerned for LGD, because Pycat isn't farming at all this game, and this is a hero, unlike a Gyrocopter, who needs the farm to be useful later on.
Yep, and will Tongfu try and just play very passively and try and outfarm them? They do have slightly better late game with the Naga Siren that has the potential to do a lot of deep slater. They have the Weaver who has been dominating bottom. They have the Gyrocopter who pretty much just had free farm top. Can they play the farm game? I'm not really too sold on that though. Not versus an anti-mage and Shadow Demon.
It's tough, but this anti-mage is 2.5k net worth. Pycat is stuck in the jungle right now. He can't lane. There's no creeps for him. And jungling as an anti-mage this early on is very inefficient. So
Yep.
I think, yeah, if with the items, it'd be very reluctant to take it late as Tongfu unless they're ahead, but Pycat's not getting the items right now, so I think they're okay.
Yeah, the Radiant is even able to abuse this pull too, and that's huge. If you can get pulls on your supports in the off lane, I think that tower kill on top helped them a lot more than I thought.
It's punishing LGDint supports too, because they're not finding any farm. If they go for the small camp pull, it'll be spotted, and with these creeps, it's nearly impossible to actually get that pull off.
So
That
Moo
ghost is very hard.
Moo just farming away on bottom. He hasn't put out any pressure on the tower. That tower's still at full HP, but just relatively passive first 10 minutes from each of these teams. A lot of just sitting around in lane. King J attempting to get a gank up on top, but no luck there. He's actually going for a buckler, so a mech without arcane boost thus far.
Yeah, no Blink Dagger for him, no Aghanim Scepter. Great initiation versus an anti-mage. Everyone nervous. LGDint, well, they'll be okay for the time being. Tongfu, no, maybe not. In comes Banana, net's there. Burrow Strike won't catch anyone. Disruption is there. Banana on the run. Now the Shadow Demon to fall. Nothing accomplished with that Burrow Strike. That really hurts. Just a great disruption. Or rather, a not so great disruption there, I should say. And a nice net by Tongfu to set up a kill.
Yep, and godz does rotate top, but not. Oh, is he going to find someone? He doesn't have a support there.
8. He
Banana may be caught out though.
He could solo kill any of these heroes, but he'll need his full combo. And if he gets caught in a net, might end up paying with his own life. And they're all backing off while this is happening. Remember, there's King J with a TP as well. So if you dive the tower, you're diving against a Beastmaster with Roar online. The DD actually going to move the Weaver. And they want to push this tower bottom.
And the boar, I believe, scouted it out 1437 in between the T1 and the T2 tower, but it's going to take a long time for them to bust that down. I believe they still have Glyph.
G looking to make his move top. He blinks it now onto Hal. The Shadow Strike's there, but a net catches G in position. Now the call down comes through. That's going to hit on 2. G on the run. Misery as well. Pycat heading for the tree line. He should be able to escape. They've lost 1. They might lose more. Misery not going to be so lucky. Sandstorm, well, Riptide's going to be here. 10 stick charges up. Banana wants to give it to Moo. They drop a sentry just to secure.
Is that worth not using your magic stick? My goodness.
Secures Moo the kill. It is a Weaver. I'm not sure if he desperately needs the gold, but that's support. That is some serious support by Banana.
Yeah, indeed it is.
My goodness. Actually, I think it was Sang-Shung, but yeah, nonetheless.
This tower under a little bit of pressure. See Shadow Demon scouting out a little bit. He will find the hog kill. 65 gold in his favor. But again, Pycat not finding any farm is really the crutch for LGDint right now. He only has a poor man shield. Poor man he is indeed. Boots and Ring of Health.
I guess the big problem for LGDint is where would you rotate him? Maybe the mid lane?
I mean, they could just do a little bit more stacking though, right?
Well, he doesn't have a Battle Fury, so I guess they don't have the best lineup to clear the stacks either. Sand King, level 3. Only level 3 Shadow Poison. I guess that is enough to farm neutrals, but...
Yeah, I mean, you can just team neutral, right? You can just team neutral with G on Queen of Pain, a lot of AoE. They have the Darkseer for it too. They have Shadow Demon with the poison stacks. Plenty of ways to try and feed gold. They need this support level from Banana, right? Just like the dropping the sentry to feed the kill to the Weaver. They need to babysit Pycat a little bit more. Sure, he hasn't died yet, and he has 1 kill, but his net worth is really suffering at this point.
Yeah, it's really suffering, and Tongfu's is not. How, with an Ogre Club up, works towards a BKB. And I did mention earlier in the draft, Tongfu are just fantastic at punishing lineups. Or rather, at punishing the by getting a BKB. Moo! Time lapses in the river. G trying to kill him off. Moo will get the kill in the end. Now Misery on the run. And in goes How will
that bit booster really paying off for him right there.
Yeah, early cost-effective items. I thought maybe he'd go for something like an Ogre Club into BKB, but going for a vitality booster. A little bit extra HP there, and it makes all the difference.
Yeah, and again, we see G fall a little bit behind in items. All he has is Tread's Bottle and No Talisman. 1, 2, and 1 after that aggressive blink up top into the net and the cooldown. And net is just so extremely powerful versus Queen of Pain, and this is definitely why they banned Puck out.
It's actually powerful against Anti-Mage and Darkseer, too. You can't surge out of it, and you can't blink out of it. It's really posing some problems for them. And if you look at Tongfu's lineup, if you use a Song of the Siren to set up Call Down and maybe some familiar stuns, that is some fantastic follow-up in the mid-game.
Indeed, and Beastmaster looks like he's actually almost has his mech now. He has the Buckler and Headdress, could buy it right now if he wanted to, and they could really force issue. How in trouble on bottom lane.
Oh man, did he ever get greedy? There's no vacuum. It's already been used by Brax, and he's gonna live.
Ooh.
How barely escaping.
That was close.
But the hairs on his chinny chin chin. Now Misery behind the tower. Moo diving. He's gone right into a disruption. Soul Catcher special. Burrow through, but the Vitality Booster making the difference. Now Roar and Misery. A time lapse out for Moo and a kill going his way. He'll keep on fighting here. King J might go down, but Pycat's got to be careful. Mono Void connects. The kill will come forth. Look for the familiar stuns. 2 are there. Tongfu still wanting to fight. Banana waiting in the wings. He's got Song. Will he go? In he comes. Moo. Not going to commit. Just a soul assumption there. Trickling damage. G hugging the tower. And How is saying, let's get this damn tower. G blinks away. They could be using Song here, but they want to make sure they save it for the tower.
Yeah, they need Gyrocopter there. Gyrocopter was still healing. He was about at the T2, so very good choice for him. Not the Song of Siren. I didn't think they had enough damage, especially with Visage Stun being recently used.
We'll take the tier 1 mid, Tongfu. Now leading by about 4k gold. 5k experience, and we're only 14 minutes in. The score, 6-3 on the kill board. And Tongfu, mech completed on King J. Their lineup is a scary 5-man lineup, Merlini. Not the most AoE in the world, but it's decent. And the thing is, they've got a mech, they've got great setup for call down, and they've got Song of the Siren. And as a result, I think Tongfu can just 5-man these outer towers. And LGDint, a rather horrible defensive lineup, to be totally honest, at least for defending towers. Their AoE is very minimal.
They are smoked, though. Are they going to make a move?
They want to make a go on Banana. He doesn't use Song. He thought he could get away. I don't know if he can. Song is there. The mech from King J. Medical assistance. And now a TP out. Tongfu are going to dodge a bullet. King J runs forward like he wants to fight. He'll drop his ult. A great defensive disruption, buying time for Pycat. The bugs will still follow. Pycat blinks due north. And our Weaver might be on the chase. Moo scurrying forward. Finds
Misery on
1437
bottom.
and brings him down. And, well, Misery tucked behind the trees. Unable to do a thing. The tower will fall. Pycat blinks away again.
He doesn't have TP yet. Arterbird's going to find him 67 mana.
Oh, no
Oh,
way.
goodness.
Did he really
Oh,
notice?
goodness.
Misery caught
Oh.
and picked off. That's some great presence of mind, to notice him in the middle of that fight running south and find the pick off.
Great defensive disrupt. They saved Pycat there, so he's still 1-0-1. No deaths to his name. Braxton trouble here.
Yeah, he's 1-0-1, but his net worth is abysmal.
It could have been a
gold.
lot worse, though, if he had died.
Remember, last game, it could have been a lot worse. That's absolutely true, Merlini. But his net worth, to get a Battle Fury now, we're looking at least 20 minutes, it feels, at this point. And by that point, Tongfu, they might have taken all the outer towers. They might even go for Roche. The BKB is already up on How. A strong 5-man lineup for them. A lineup that can just somewhat asphyxiate LGDN. And it's going to be hard to split push because there's a Beastmaster and there's a Naga. Great heroes to gank that anti-mage.
And King J, although he's 0-2-1, I still feel his presence a lot more than last game. He's been hitting a lot of roars, and I mean, I guess it's not hard to hit roars, but he's been present in a lot of team fights. He's farmed his mech, even though he was in a rather difficult lane. And sure, he's dying, but his team is getting a lot out of his deaths.
Also, stacking the neutrals here. We'll see Hal start to farm them, and
Oh, he's gonna be huge. He has his BKB already.
that'll be another, 700, 800 gold into his pockets. In fact, even a bit closer to 1,000. That was a quad stack, I believe. Yeah, it was. And now, 1,000 more gold for Hal. He'll work towards probably his Demon Edge this game. And as I mentioned earlier, Merlini, what I was going to say before I completely lost my train of thought in that earlier skirmish at the bottom rune, there is nothing on LGD inside to deal with the BKB. Absolutely nothing right now. A BKB Gyro is invincible in these fights.
He's very scary. They have the Demonic Purge that they can try and kite him maybe, but it's going to be very difficult to run away from that roar, from that pig, from the Grave Chill and Snare. They have so many ways to try and keep LGD in place and force the fight where they want the fight to be had.
We'll see that Hawk being very active, scouting out Misery in the jungle. He's got to be careful here. Could be in a bit of trouble. Meanwhile, Moo applying pressure mid lane up to 2,100 gold. We'll see what he goes for next. The teleport comes in from Sangsheng. Tongfu starting to group and cluster as four heroes, a 4-man squad, towards the top lane. Maybe looking to push. Mu parked mid, the familiars pushing bottom. Pycat, 1,300 gold, 18 minutes in. Nothing on the courier, nothing on the ground of the base. It's still a long way for that Battle Fury for him.
And it's been a long time for Misery to get his level 6 as well. He's 5.5. The supports on LGD are really hurting.
It's what Tongfu did earlier. Just such fantastic usage of that pull camp. It's a big advantage for the Radiant side. If you aggressive tri-lane, you can pull the lane back easily. That's something on the Dire side, you just don't have that luxury. They took advantage. They starved these supports. They starved the anti-mage. And LGDint, it just felt like they didn't really have a choice. They couldn't really contest Tongfu's tri-lane.
I need to reconnect.
Merlini needs to reconnect, so for the time being, we'll see how. Head into the jungle. BKB up, 1,700 gold for him. 8-3 our kill score, 19 minutes in, and in comes How. Maybe looking to dive this tower. G, he's working towards the BKB. Ogre Club online for him. Familiars, the air supports flying high, scouting high. Tongfu will descend on this tower, and LGDN, they'll be forced to go for trades. That means Pycat, Claymore up, farming bottom lane. Battle Fury maybe even after 20 minutes, maybe 21, 22, assuming he doesn't die. Tongfu take the second to last outer tower of this game. Roshan might be in the offing, and there's your Demon Edge for Mu. They want multiple cores that dish it out, and they're going to start to work towards one now. Mu, tanky already, and now going to start to hurt.
I feel like Tongfu could really use a pipe right now, too. You talked about how LGD doesn't really have any solutions to BKB, and that is absolutely true. And they could totally abuse the fact that they have such a magic-based lineup, especially with Anti-Mage not really having that much farm, and just mech pipe it up and just force a lot of fights, and LGD will suffer heavy losses in most of them if they execute properly.
Ironic, isn't it, that the Anti-Mage must rely on his teammates' magic to get him through to the late game.
But instead, going for an Axe Scepter, not a bad choice by any means, but again, pipe a little bit cheaper and it would help him a lot for these constant fights that they're trying to engage. My kill score actually says 0-0. I don't know why. Yeah.
Merlini, well, apparently rooting for LGD in here. The score is definitely not 0-0, guys. It's 8-3, 20 minutes in. Reconnecting sometimes gives you that bug, buddy, but this is where Tongfu farm their MKBs. How? Demon Edge up. We'll work towards that. All the outer towers down. I feel Tongfu could Rosh almost any time they won, but it is dangerous against Darkseer, so they may look for some pickoffs and additional items before they take that Rosh.
Really nice wars by Tongfu. We saw LGN get a very early gem last game for the Nyx Assassin, and that hurt them a lot. With this one in mid and the one on bottom, they are really in a nice position for Roshan because they can cover any dark spot on the map with a Greater Hawk, which they're using right now. And if they could pick up a gem themselves just to fend off smoke ganks, but they're in a really good position for this mid game. They took out all the T2s right now. Very easy Roshan for them, at least it looks like it's going to be. Oh, nope, there's a smoke from LGD. It looks like they know what's up.
Can they really contest Roshan? They are trailing by 14k gold, 6k experience, and Wall not that good against Gyro. Not that good against a lot of these heroes, but they're going to try for it anyway. Around wraps Misery. He's leading the way. Burrow Strike online. He'll settle for Sangsheng. The first one he's caught. There's your sleep. They're going to try and finish Roche during the sleep. They do. And Hal snags it. Beautiful use of the Song of the Siren. Now the call down cometh. Misery caught. Vacuums there, pulls everyone into the wall, and Tongfu says, we don't care. We're going to fight. Roar on G. Mu trying to muscle him down. Defensive disruption is there. Pycat, no Mana Void, biding his time, waiting for an opening. Misery falls. The Aegis was exploited, or rather popped. How? No Aegis for him anymore.
He just walked through the wall. And he was at like 260 HP. He just walked through a wall and the illusion killed himself.
And meanwhile, Pycat's going to snipe a courier. There's almost your Battle Fury.
That's the second courier that actually died. When they were fighting mid, the courier was just flying over and just got 3-shot by the tower. So that's actually a lot of gold for LGD.
It is, and yet I'm looking at the gold graph.
Ooh, that is.
And it's still a 14,000 gold lead for Tongfu. A 10,000 experience lead. This might be one of those games where they feed their courier, but it doesn't matter.
Naga Siren, we talked a lot about the net, but a Song of the Siren, ooh, Mu might actually be in danger here. It almost has no mana.
Soul-Catcher, he's got a regen rune. He just wanted to use every last bit of harassment possible. Now he'll wait for this last Shadow Poison tick. He'll pop the regen. He'll be back in fighting shape. And still not popping. Never mind that. Doesn't want to use it.
Oh, there
we go. I don't know why I got fixated on that, but it's like, use your regen rune, Mu. What's wrong with you?
But Naga Siren is stacked too. She has power treads and drums and an urn and 800 gold. I mean, these tower gold is just massive. Wow, huge difference.
Yeah, and How is getting close to that MKB. 11k net worth for him. Once he gets an MKB, he is going to be king of these fights. And LGDint, a lineup that really wanted to just split push, get an early Battle Fury on the anti-mage, an early BKB, maybe an Orchid on the Queen of Pain, and stall the game. Well, going on How now, he will get Shadow Strike. He doesn't care.
So last time when we saw G in this position of a Queen of Pain versus a rather offensive lineup and fall behind early, he actually still rushed an Orchid. He went a little bit of a different build this game in the Scepter, but I'm actually not sure if that's the best choice either, because they still have a lot of magic damage that he needs to deal with. But if he gets a BKB, he has to deal with the net and the roar. I think that a Lincoln's would be a really good choice for him.
Lincoln's might be an option, but it is harder to farm it. The pieces are a bit more expensive, and I guess G...
Survivability is really important for him right now. If he can survive, then he can farm more. Which
yeah,
is
this is an item you can build piecemeal. A Lincoln's an item that helps you a lot once it's complete, not so much before then.
23-minute perseverance, man.
Yeah, I don't know about it. Trust me, G has plenty of time to go to the fountain this game.
They have a gem.
He's got lots of vacation time, more than he wants. He wants to be hitting creeps, he wants to be at work, and Tongfu say, take a vacation, G.
Yep, Tongfu just
Go
trying
to
play the starving game right now. Even if Anti-Mage gets a Battle Fury, he's still gonna... Or he actually has it right now.
But he's still not combat.
There might be a
the
fight on
There's
top.
going to be a big vacuum initiation now. They've caught King J, Epi channel, but in comes your gyro, BKB. This could be bad. Unfortunately, Banana dropping a Son. I don't know about that choice. Doesn't matter. One more flak, 2 will fall. It's going to be more. Brax tries to TP out. Not the best focus fire. Never mind that. Hal's going to clip 4. 4 hit the deck. And if you're LGDN, maybe you just tap out here, because that...
Bycat has his B Fury, farming away.
That was not even a great fight from Tongfu. Their Song of the Siren hurt them in that fight, but didn't matter.
BKB and the mech and all these items on
He didn't have his MKB. I thought he had it in that fight. Wasn't delivered yet. And he still did that without the MKB.
Such good setup from them. But again, Queen of Pain blinking into that. I think he's been leading leading them into quite like bad teamfight situations. They knew that Anti-Mage wasn't available to fight. He had already blinked bottom and he didn't have his Battle Fury picked up yet. And you can't force that aggressive fight. Sure, they had the vision from the ward, but it was just, ooh, there's a call down, I see.
Call down's there. LGDint, they took game 1, but game 2 now looks to be all but lost for them. They trail by 20k gold, 14k experience. Tongfu take 1 lane of racks. They do it without Hal's MKB. Now it's delivered. Without Moo's next item, up to 3,800 gold. The full fighting power of Tongfu has not even been unleashed this game. And even now, LGDN just cannot stand against it. They got King J's gem. That's a small victory.
How did they
for
manage to
Tongfu.
get that? They actually killed 4 heroes. I'm surprised that King J wasn't like, get my gem back, guys.
Yeah, I actually didn't catch up Pike. I got it either. He's got a gem, but does Tongfu really care if anyone? Nobody can really take advantage of this at this point. There's no invis heroes in LGDN. There's just the Sandcane Sandstorm. After Misery's Burrow strikes in, he's pretty much done for anyway.
I mean, it is really important for them to take out this ward, though. They had the ward on top. They almost got it de-warded, but the fight broke out too soon. But Tongfu in full control of this game. Looks like difference in gold earn is approaching close to that 20,000 mark.
Like you said, a massive advantage for Tongfu. Now they'll back off. They'll probably wait for Roshan number 2. It is spawning in 5 minutes. Remember, they lost the Aegis right after the last Roshan engagement. But I feel during this time they could just farm their next items. And even if Pycat is a Manta style, by the next push, even if he's got a Vitality booster on top of that or a Talisman of Evasion, he is not going to be at a stage where he can deal with a Gyro with an MKB, a BKB, and his next item already 3k gold up on Hal, and with a Weaver, who now has just purchased a big one. MKB being delivered, up to 800 gold on top of it. And oh, by the way, they have a Naga with 3k. 4-position Naga Siren, farming like a semi-carry.
That Banana, 2-0-4, hasn't even died yet this game.
Naga Siren, strong hero.
LGD knows that they need to make a move right now. Tongfu still have all 6 of their towers, T1 and T2 towers up. They need to find a gate, get some towers, get some gold for Anti-Mage. They need Pycat to farm his Manta style as soon as possible.
3 familiars. Why the hell not? Songsheng getting richer. The rich get richer. LGDN, they'll lurk in this lane, but in come Naga Illusions mid and bottom. And this is one of the most obvious smoke ganks you will ever see. Bottom lane, mid lane, at the base. Nobody defending. LGDN are desperate. They'll try and go now. A blink. As well as a vacuum. Oh no. Now LGDN want to run. They want to hightail it out of here. Moo's going to lead the way. The familiars closing the gap. 1437 looks to sacrifice himself, and LGDint say no. We want more, and we're going to get it. Brax to fall. Misery as well. Call it 3, and G on a headlong retreat. Look for the familiar stuns. Is the micro there? We're going to find out in just a second. Stun. 1, 2, 3. Horrible teamwork. Absolutely atrocious. And G will blink away. What the hell was that? It doesn't matter, though.
Why get a scepter?
3 dead. Oof. They were all at the same time, too.
3 and out.
Well,
3 and out.
He struck out there, that's for sure. Nonetheless, Tongfu, they got 3 kills. They can march towards this top lane and look to end this game. And LGD nowhere near being in fighting shape.
They're trying to constantly split towards PyCat, but is it enough? That is the question. They're about to push T3 on top. Tongfu may very well end this in the next couple of minutes.
Tower dropping a bit low, but it's in deny range. PyCat might suicide just to take this tower. He blinks away. The swarm still following him. The tower denied. He will TP out. Barely at that. Now Banana vacuumed in. BKB from How. And now G jumping forth. Probably doesn't want to be here. Defensive disruption, but call down comes through. A blink away. Successful escape. The tower can't blink away, and that's the big problem here for LGD. This tower in jeopardy. No Weaver. Doesn't matter. Tongfu looking at their second lane of Rax, and with that, Merlini, I think we are headed to a game number 3.
So was his kill score actually 16-4? They only got 4 kills this entire game. My goodness.
Well, we'll have our final climactic showdown. Maybe a bit of an anti-climax. In Burrow strikes Misery. Not going to use any spells after that. He'll fall. Now, PyCat in trouble. Is he going to drop one more auto attack? The Visage nuke will not follow him. LGD, a hasty retreat towards their own well.
They are not giving up yet.
And at long last, this team that has been beaten for
Okay,
quite a
there it
while
goes.
will tap out.
Ooh, that was a rough game for them. I think part of it has to do with the strength of the Naga Siren pick. I mean, she just dominated.
And as well as just the weakness of that anti-mage Sand King tri-lane. Sure, you have a Shadow Demon there. Great defensive hero, but Sand King can't zone the enemy support top. He can't go near a Naga. That's a weak tri-lane, and they took advantage.
Right, and looks like LGD wanted to play very aggressively. That's what Sand King and Queen of Pain are there for, but it doesn't really fit the anti-mage lineup. Sand King, again, really weak in lane with anti-mage, like you pointed out, and Queen of Pain, if she gets off to a not good start like that, she is not the hero that you want when you want a turtle. You really need a Magnus or a Keeper of the Light, possibly. Either of those would work well, but I mean, with Song of the Siren, do you really want to RP initiate versus that? I think the Song of the Sirens were pretty good, minus the one up top where it just nullified a lot of the damage from the call down. But fantastic play from Banana. I think that's my MVP for the game. How definitely played very well too. Found his farm. He was super stacked, had nice call downs, didn't get picked off very often.
Good performance all around from Tongfu. I think the biggest thing for me was that they ran a multi-core lineup, and that's something that Lumi talked about as well as Bruno in the pre-show.
Tell us more.
It was Bruno.
Yes.
So you deserve the credit for
Okay,
that
it's
one.
Bruno then.
Yay.
Sorry, buddy.
The key thing for me in this particular lineup is that it seems like LGD, as a team, didn't know how to play around anti-mage.
Yeah.
Not to say that they don't know how to play anti-mage
No,
particularly,
of
but
course.
it's definitely a team effort. And it come out in 2 different instances. Your supports need to be getting their level while defending the anti-mage.
Right.
This means abusing the safe lane pull. Very, very good play on the Tongfu support. They pulled the camp to the left.
Right.
And this happened in multiple instances. They pulled the camp to the left, and they stuck the Naga on the front with the gyrocopter. They nuked down the entire creep wave. And then the pull went the other way. No creep for the 3 guys on the front. So that was very hard for the support to catch up. Also, I felt like G played ultra aggressive, more aggressive than you want to when you play an anti-mage lineup. Generally, you want to basically, if you play the anti-mage lineup, protect your outer towers. You only make the rotation up top if they're making dive or if they're threatening the tier 1 push. Because he was rotating too much, Beastmaster damaged the mid tower, eventually the tower fell down. And that's not how you play anti-mage lineup. You want to just play ultra defensive, keep your tier 1 and tier 2s for as long as possible. That didn't happen. At a certain point in the game, it was 6 towers to 0.
Yes.
That can't happen if you're playing AM.
Well, that can't happen in any lineup
Right.
at all because I'm sure that if you're 6 towers to 0 at one point of the game, you pretty much lost it there. However, I wanted to say something about Merlini said it all. To me, it was about the Naga pick being very, very crucial against, not only because of the natural synergy against the anti-mage, you ensnare him, he can't blink away, but also because of the setup. The power of Naga means that I think Naga is, bar none, the most powerful hero for taking Roshan.
Sure.
Not only if you're in the offensive position, but also if you are trying to contest Roshan. There's pretty much nothing that they can't do. other than popping BKBs and Rage to try to just finish Roshan if you have the vision and you go there. So that hero alone gives you an unnatural advantage, I would say, in the same way that Wisp gives you an advantage over the map just by the virtue of being able to take everyone. Of course, Roshan, it's an advantage that you can only use once every 10 minutes, and only at certain points in the game where you can actually have the DPS and the ability to do it. But it's something that Tongfu knew to do well, and then they carried on with that, with the other cores having the Gyrocopter and the Weaver being particularly strong, to the point where the anti-mage tickled. And it felt kind of like a role reversal from last game,
Right, where
they only had an anti-mage.
Right, and the anti-mage was, beasting throughout the whole game. Back to your Roshan point, it wasn't like Weaver and Naga and Gyrocopter are a great hero in terms of DPSing the Roshan. Now, they took him forever. The Beastmaster Aura helped a little bit, but they had all the time in the world because of the Naga ultimate. Back to your anti-mage point, or versus anti-mage point, anti-mage even show up to any team fight. So, like, the last couple, it's not because he decided to AFK farm. It's because even if he showed up, he's just one net away from death.
Yes.
So it's just an innate counter that, like you point out, for Naga, and it's just hard for AM to play around that. And, well, it's kind of how the cookie crumbles as Tongfu. Very, very easy victory.
And now this is interesting because we saw the first game, LGDint outplaying Tongfu. I'm a believer that Tongfu was never entirely out of that game.
Yep.
They were dominating. I mean, LGDint was controlling the game pretty well, but Tongfu was getting something. While in game 2, LGDint was getting pretty much nothing, while Tongfu was dominating, especially in those
everything. We haven't talked about too much Weaver versus Darkster on the bot lane. Brax did not have living armor.
No.
So Move was dancing circles around them. The bottle, Merlini talked about it in terms of maybe perhaps not the best item selection. In the case of this particular game, it worked out very well for the Weaver because he was finding nothing but double damage runes and regen runes when he was low. So he was just, if you have a double damage rune on your carry, and whenever you want to pop it, that's one of the most dangerous kind of underestimated thing in the entire game.
So guys, I'm going to give you an opportunity now. We're headed into game 3. Let's revise our predictions if you want. Who do you think is going to take it? We've seen 2 games so far. Merlini, Bruno, Lumi. Who's going to take it? You can flip-flop now if you want.
Okay, no,
It's okay.
what I'm going to say is, and it's a great question because it was the driving point of what I was saying before. I don't think any team has a clear advantage over the other in terms of pure skill, but it will all come down about the pick. It seems that in this series, it pays to be greedy. It pays to be going with the multiple carries, just try to get as much control in individual heroes as possible. And if you're going with just one big core and try to carry the victory in a very 4 protect 1 kind of thing, it's not going to work.
Okay, I'm going to flip-flop and go with LGD.int.
Wow.
Simply because if they pick the double roam support, they know how to get their levels. They know how to get farm. They know how to gank well. If you play double support to protect anti-mage, they're not really in tune with that. So judging from how the last game went, I'm pretty sure LGD says, hey guys, let's just go back to what we know. The double roam, whether they do with Wisp, whether they do with Sanking or Venge, whatever. Just double roam, gank all over the map, and play the 3 core like you suggested. And that should be... I'm not sure whether Tongfu could handle that snowball. And let's see if LG could kind of take it.
Merlini, your predictions?
I still think Tongfu, but the odds are much, much less in favor of Tongfu.
I thought maybe
I would be much... After the draft, I think it'll be pretty clear.
Yeah, if there's a clear-out draft, we'll expect that team to take it. But guys, we're going to take a quick break. It's your final match of the evening for the Alienware Cup. When we come back, we'll be live. It's going to be LGDint versus Tongfu. Loser goes home. Winner, they stay alive. We'll see who it is after this break. Stay tuned.